Hey, if we fly through it and end it before an hour, I'm good with that. I'm sure you are too.
Showtime. Dynamite Download.
Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive coverage of all elite wrestling.
This is what pro wrestling feel like.
I told you guys, positive energy.
I think that created a little moment in itself.
You're saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
That punk, that long-haired hippie freak.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
So that you need to be careful in the locker room.
I definitely think that women's wrestling has been elevated.
And with the loss of Brody, I feel like we were just kind of a little bit directionless.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
Raw Horse.
Raw Horse?
Oh my god! Amazing.
I had to smack him around a few times to fully gain his respect.
You said that in front of the voice of a generation?
It was Frank Heath match.
Awesome.
This podcast is quite frankly the drizzling shit, if I'm being quite honest.
The day spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Look at this. Happy Halloween
Yes.
background for that. What's up, everybody? Dynamite Download 2-1 Spooky 6. How is everybody doing in the chat? Yep. And, I was reading in the chat about that, and we were discussing this around dinner today. Devil's Night. Have you heard of that, Mind Runner?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Devil's Night. It's the night before Devil's Night. That's the night before Halloween and All Hallows Eve and all of that jazz. Yep, it's toilet paper and eggs. And we got, live in and around Detroit. That's Detroit Devils. Or
Well, that's the thing is like,
Red Wings.
I'm from Michigan, born and raised, and that was like the thing was Devil's Night was tonight before Halloween. And we were looking up the history behind it, and a lot of people that don't live or haven't been anyone around. Yes, that's right, Steven. I remember you did live in Michigan. It's a Michigan thing. It's like I saw a map and it only showed Michigan. Who knows Devil's Night? And I asked my dad, and he's like, we used to soap windows and TP houses. And then him as being a Detroit firefighter, in the 80s, it started with tons and tons and tons of arson. And so he was a Detroit firefighter for almost 40 years. And so he definitely had his experience with the quote unquote Devil's Night on October 30th. So that is officially tonight, I guess, if you're going to be celebrating or not celebrating that in the Michigan area. But last night, Friday Night Dynamite was awesome, man. I didn't get to watch it live. I had some plans, but I rewatched it today, and I loved it top to bottom. Not a lot of points for a draft that were there because it was just a deep quality show. Yeah. But man, I really enjoyed it. How did you guys feel?
I got to say this. All right. It was a good Dynamite until the end that made it one of the greatest moments in Dynamite history. And I got to tell you, and Hangman is undefeated in Halloween specials. I mean, when he came out and he fought, he turned out he was the Stay Puft Marshal. Man, that was fantastic. But last night, Tony Hangman Schiavone, that was the way they shot that, the way the bait and switch, because they had Schiavone come out. We saw him earlier in the Family Opera mask, everything, and the way they shot this whole thing, and how they had Hanger out there mouthing the words while Schiavone was talking, and then the camera pans back and it switches to Hanger's voice, and you hear like "Long may he reign," like, and you could tell. You watch the crowd. Deb and I watched this like 10 times. We went back and watched. You can watch the crowd slowly realize that's not Schiavone. They even gave him a belly. Like, they even gave him a fake belly. You can see him when he starts beating up Hobbs. I thought this was phenomenal. This was chef's kiss. It was a great Dynamite. It was a great Dynamite, but the way this ended took it next level for me.
I mean, you said it best, and I think it's so clever. Like the everything they did, throughout the show, the different set. That was early on. That's what I was always kind of like selfishly bummed about, was when they would do things like Beach Break and Fight for the Fallen. A lot of times it was just rinse and repeat of the normal set, and they just called it a special show.
Yeah.
Here it felt different. Their Fright Night Dynamite. They had a little bit different decorations, a little bit things, like it felt a little bit different, which I really appreciated. But yeah, man, I like that AEW leans into the Halloween aspect. And just before this, when the Marshmallow Man was out there and they took off his mask and they thought it was him, there's no way it would have been him, but it was just a good swerve per se. But a great way to end the show. Starting this show was that tornado tag match with the two of the top baby faces, with Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy versus two members of the Death Riders. And there we go. We're just getting a sneak peek of it all. There we go. There's that Fright Night tornado tag trick or treat. And I love the meme or gif that's going around of Daniel Garcia cracking up at Wheeler Yuta taking out OC in the crowd. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but he just is laughing at the camera.
That's a new meme. Yeah, this guy.
But this was just right up the alley of a Darby Allin match, and I think it was a great way to kick off the show. And what we saw later on with the result of this. But I like a good tornado tag, especially Darby. His matches are anything but orthodox, and anytime he's in the ring, it's going to be some kind of stipulation, or something's going to happen. I don't remember the last time he's had a bell to bell, quote unquote, normal match per se that didn't involve stuff. Even when he was with Claudio, attacking him before and everything. So this one, and I like that. Full FTD's got to appreciate a little bit of what Danielson was doing on commentary with this one for sure, especially kind of talking trash to Wheeler Yuta, and at the end where he's like, Moxley must have taught him to tap out because I sure didn't teach him to tap out. I love that little line or something along those lines that Danielson had on commentary. But to beat a dead horse, I love Danielson on commentary. He adds that extra level to me, and that extra little insight.
I don't hate him. I do think sometimes he's a little too me, but he's actually held off of that a little bit. He's
getting better every week.
Yeah, he does provide some more insight and color commentary. I got to talk about, I do like Daniel Garcia with the Death Riders. I think that elevates him a little bit. But
for sure,
this is the best Wheeler Yuta. Like, he's getting the best out of this rub, because like the entire Death Riders could show up and they're going to chant F you Yuta. He's the one that gets the heat, and I love it. And he goes to get a table. Oh, you what? Oh, I'm gonna get a table. Oh, you know what I found? I found this for you. I love that. Like, he's playing into it, and it just makes it just even better. I think Wheeler Yuta is becoming one of the better heels in AEW right now, and it's because he's steering into it. It's fun to hate on him. And he refuses to get his hair cut from this caveman thing. I love it. I thought Orange Cassidy, of course, he's always fun to watch. It's kind of interesting that he's kind of toned down a little bit of the stuff he's done. But I mean, he was go time too in this. This was a great way to open. Just all right, in your face. Here's your Fright Night. Here's this tornado tag, and like you said, it sets up for Orange Cassidy's reluctant announcement that Mark Briscoe forced him to make, but we'll get to that later.
Whatever.
I thought it was.
You're right, man. Especially here at Dynamite Download, we love the superstars, and we also love the unsung heroes. And one of those unsung heroes over the last year plus really has been Wheeler Yuta. So I like that you're highlighting him and continuing to give him his praises, because he 100% deserves it, man. The guy's doing some really great stuff, and he takes a heck of a beating a lot of times too, and he constantly getting back up, and it's not easy getting that much heat, and he's getting it in such a good way as a heel. And so you're right, man. I keep giving him props because he 100% deserves it. As much as we want to say "F you, Yuta," we mean it with respect and love.
Yeah. He's not somebody that you want to go away. Like,
no,
he's one that
you're right.
And there may have been a point early on where some people felt like that. I didn't, but like now he's somebody that's fun to boo. He's not quite Don Callis level. He's not MJF, not Christian Cage, but he is getting the focus of the boo of the hiss, boo hiss for the Death Riders right now, and I think it's fantastic.
You know, to keep the theme of the Death Riders, one of my favorite matches of the night, even though it was a rinse and repeat, number 2 was Kyle O'Reilly versus Jon Moxley, and another one of those where it's like, man, Kyle O'Reilly was my top performer last week, and I was like, he could almost be a repeat top performer because these guys went toe-to-toe and were battling pretty heavily on this one. And another great booking, in my opinion, the way the finish was. And another great comment by Danielson saying, you know, they're too busy beating each other up in the hold to realize the 10 count, you know, all that. And so how often have we ever had a double count out, which is very, very rare. But I love the back and forth of this, man. How did you think? What was your thought on this match, even though we just saw it last week?
You know, I always groan just a little bit whenever we do a rinse and repeat, but like
exactly,
I do. We've talked before about the Moxley rub, and this, like, I mean, no disrespect, but the best thing to happen to Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong was for Adam Cole to go away for a while. And I wish Adam Cole the best recovery and everything, and I hope I don't want to wish harm on him, but this is the better Kyle O'Reilly with the conglomeration with that whole storyline. But what was cool about this was that as playful as he is in that character, he came to business and he looked good. There were some moments where he was wailing on Moxley. There were moments where
bloodied him up.
And there's only, like, in the whole Moxley's thing, there's a duality of kayfabe and shoot. There's the kayfabe of I'm above belts and I'm doing this for the business. He is also doing this for the business. He is giving these wrestlers like Kyle O'Reilly, like Darby, like all these folks, he's giving them an opportunity to shine and to really look good. And he's doing that with this character. And I think that's kind of the genius in Jon Moxley's understanding of the business, but also Kyle O'Reilly looked fantastic. And it gives the truly talented people an opportunity to show what they actually can do. And that they showed why Kyle O'Reilly is one of the better wrestlers in there. And I feel like that was great. And another great setup for the reluctant Orange Cassidy announcement.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Here you go on that slide there. But like I liked how you said the Moxley rub, which we spent a little time on that the last couple of weeks, and we talked about other wrestlers that give that rub, and the more and more you've brought that light to my eye, and I'm like seeing it more. And because he's so, as important as he is to AEW, he seems so selfless, even though he's been very protected with his wins, as he should be. But you see the way he sells. We talk about like Ricochet being a great seller, Pac being a great seller, but Moxley can be really appreciated for an underrated seller. Like, I'm watching him in some of these matches as of late. I'm like, not only is he selling the moves, but as I texted you all, like emotionally and his facials, like especially when you're having promo battles, like when they're, especially like this scene where showing the Death Riders outside and he's just like freaking out. And then his facials when Marina Shafir and Bane are going to join forces, like Moxley is really, really being a team player. And that must feel so awesome in the locker room from your guy doing all this for everybody. It's going to be a trickle-down effect. When you have your top guy, which Moxley arguably is the top guy in AEW, whether he has the belt or not, in terms of locker room leader and been there the longest, et cetera, et cetera. And like the Iron Man, if you have him setting the stage and doing everything possible, it's going to trickle effect down. And it seems, and that's the rub that you talk about, the Moxley rub. And now it's leading to a second blood and guts match in one night. That's just going to be absolutely insane, which we talked about last night. So we got these three guys plus Roderick Strong and Darby Allin versus the Death Riders in blood and guts. And Orange Cassidy's delivery, he made me laugh out loud. As part of a critic I am with Orange Cassidy, I'm liking this return run of him so far. I am a fan.
I love his reluctance to say it too. He's like, say it. He's like, no, I don't want to say it. But what was cool when he finally said blood and guts, it cut to Moxley, and like you said, Moxley's reaction to blood, and he knows, that they're going there, because he knows that it's not just Orange Cassidy, it's Darby, Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, who just beat his ass back and forth. He's gonna, and Steven and I know he's the Steven the Snake and all that, but Steven in the chat and I share a lot of ideas. We are very boom, boom, but I gotta disagree with him. I think the better story is not that Roderick Strong's gonna turn at Blood and Guts. I think the better story is he's gonna be the MVP of the conglomeration. He's gonna reluctantly be the guy that wins it for them. And it's gonna be one of those things where he's kind of like, he's an outs. He doesn't want to join. He doesn't want Kyle to go back to conglomeration. He kind of wants to just Kyle for himself kind of thing, and still holding on to the Adam Cole stuff, Paragon. But he slowly ends up being the one that makes the difference for the conglomeration and finally becomes part of it. Because funny, Roderick Strong has no personality unless he's interacting with this storyline. Like when he had no personality until he was neck strong, Roderick Strong, and the Kyle, all that kind of stuff, like that was great, and that's who we've got back again with this whole. You watch the video of the conglomeration, and Roderick Strong gets up and leaves. They spent money on that, so they're not going to have Roderick Strong become a heel if he's still in their video. You know what I mean? So they spent.
Yeah, I mean, I really want. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm like, to piggyback on that, I want to see the babyface Roderick Strong and almost like those two guys as a tag team or trios together, because I feel like, especially as of late, both guys, Roddy and Kyle, have done some really great stuff in the ring. Yeah. And there needs to be kind of more true babyface tag teams out there, especially if Kevin Knight is hurt.
My man.
If Kevin Knight is legit hurt, Team Jet Speed is one of the biggest consistent babyface teams out there. So if you have these guys, and then maybe OC can join them as a trios group, maybe fight for the trios titles, that'd be fun. But the Kyle screaming thing is so funny. It almost could be like the Devon, get the tables type of style thing. Kyle.
Kyle. Well, let's talk about the Team Jet Speed, and I thought the Bucks were going to win this one last night. I would have liked to.
I was hoping.
I think it's too soon for Jurassic Express to win, and this is a good way to protect them. But what do you think of FTR winning this one?
I mean, FTR. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did FTR and Brodito face in the tournament?
I don't recall.
Was that the finals? Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think they faced in the tournament early on, and they had an awesome one. But you look at this, and it's like FTR needs to get. They've gotten a ton of heat, and this is another way for them to get a ton of heat as well. They've been the backbone of the resurgence of the tag division as of late, and I think they deserve another title shot. Now, looking at this graphic with four of these teams, any of these four teams, in my opinion, could dethrone Brodito at any given point, as much as I love Brodito. So does FTR dethrone Brodito at Full Gear? I still think. I mean, we got some time for a build. We got about 3 weeks for a build, a little over 3 weeks. I think they could. They could. I really think they could.
They won't. Because
I hope they don't.
I think that's Christian Cage is going to cost them the
match. That makes okay because they're not done with them. Yeah.
Oh, not by damn sight.
Do you think Christian Cage and Adam Copeland?
Well, Christian Cage at least guaranteed.
Okay.
Adam Copeland may show up later, but Christian Cage is going to cost them the title match, and because Brodito is super hot right now.
They are, but you're also like so Full Gear right now. You have 3 title matches already set. You got the world title with Samoa Joe and Hangman. You got the AEW Women's World Title with Statlander and Mercedes. Then you got the tag team titles with FTR versus Brodito. I think any of those 3 matches, this one's the most vulnerable for a title change, the tag team one. And I love and appreciate when pay-per-views do have title changes. Yep. So to me, as of today, that could change leading up to our preview show. But as of today, I think this is the most vulnerable one, and that can go 50-50. I would have loved to see the Bucks do that again, because then they'll continue their story. The Broke Bucks, they're going to be all, riding the high, like, oh, we got a title shot, we can get gold back, blah, blah, blah. And then they just get knocked down another pedestal and lose. And I loved the match between Brodito and the Bucks. They had such an amazing match, and I thought the Bucks were going to win that one. And when Brodito upset them, which I do call that an upset, but hindsight looking at it, like Brodito's the champs now, so they went through the Bucks. This one, I think this is it's a toss up between this one and the main event for my favorite match of the night. I just love the high flyingness, the tag team chemistry. Everyone got their spots in. Same with the main event, which we'll talk about. But this one was a lot of fun. I really hope Kevin Knight is not hurt because he's on Team SPD. But you never know. So you would have picked the Bucks. How do you feel though now that you have a day to think about it? That FTR is going to.
Oh, I know. It makes sense now. I mean, it makes it. Jurassic Express, it's too soon. Jet Speed hasn't been booked to be a contender. And the Young Bucks, I think the storyline is, the eventual reuniting of the Elite. Because that whole dialogue, that whole temptation of Gallus, which leads to some more stuff, where how he said, hey, I'm going to show you what I can do for you. And they had all the pyro, all the stuff. They had their logo back and everything, and it's like, this temptation, like, hey, if you join the Callis family, this is what I can do for you, which it's going to end up being no. The whole thing is going to be that he ends up, they're going to end up back with Kenny. Yep, there you go.
No best tag team in the world from Rancho Cucamonga.
That was so great.
I should just put this as an avatar.
But no, FTR is actually, in hindsight, FTR is the right decision.
Right.
I can see Brent and them talking about how this could be the fast track to get, Edge and Christian going to feud with FTR, because who knows how long Adam Copeland has left in him, so they might be trying to fast track Edge and Christian before they get any further. But yeah, great stuff. I mean, I think that was awesome all around. What do we got? What do we want to talk about next?
Let's talk about since we're talking in the tag division, women's tag team match.
Okay, let's get right to it. Here we go. I said the only way that the Sisters of Sin are going to win is if Tekla gets involved, and I said Tekla's probably going to get involved because, you have to have the Sisters of Sin can't lose this match, because even though it's Amanat and Jamie Hayter, Julia Hart and Sky Blue had to win this match because they're more of a legit tag team, whereas Hayter and Amanata are kind of thrown together. But I said no, they're still unfinished business with Tekla, and I think Tekla is going to be the deciding factor. And then boom, that's exactly what happened. And I think that was the right call. You need, because otherwise you're going to have some babyface tag teams and everything. And I think this was the right call. Aminata is so great in the ring. This the power of Jamie Hayter's arm and Aminata's noggin, her skull. The damage they do is fantastic, and I just was all here for it. But Moxley gave the same reaction I did when when it turns out it's going to be Megan Bain and Marina Shafir teaming together. Now, again, Penelope, I hope you recover. We wish you well. You're one of our favorite wrestlers. Everybody loves Penelope. But without Penelope and now having Marina Shafir join Megan Bain, this is Death Rider's Marina Shafir. This isn't, the problem Marina Shafir or the Blossom, you know me, you don't know me, Marina Shafir. This is Death Rider's Marina Shafir. She's been repackaged with Megan Bain. This is going to be a dominant team. Moxley's look on Moxley's face says it all right there.
As I said earlier, like this is the moment I texted you all. I'm like, Moxley's facials, like he's the top guy. He does not need to be getting involved in the women's tag team division tournament at all. But for him to have his, I would say protege or, his little, I'm not gonna say minion, but like someone he's groomed to be such a badass in Marina. And I think it made it so much more better where like this top guy, this total badass is like, wow, good. Like I forget what he said, but like, yeah, insane.
Mega problem.
I love this. And, Steven was saying that, last week in the chat, we're like Penelope getting hurt and we're like, we don't know if we saw it. She took the finish, even took a lot of like stuff with her arms. And so I guess it's legit, that injury. So this is a great segue, a great quote unquote replacement to be in terms of Megan and Marina. So could, like Penelope said in her promo, like could they have been the ones that went all the way? And you said they have been your favorites the whole time.
Yep.
And could this team be the unlikely duo that takes it all because of how violent they are? Back to the match itself, I was curious of your take, but you said last week on our show that you felt bad, like they were potentially quote unquote jobbing out the Sisters of Sin. And even if they don't make it past the next round, like winning the first round, I think is enough to kind of keep some momentum and keep some legitimacy behind them. Now, it's unfortunate. You could say Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter were the number one seed because they got to pick their opponents. But the finish made sense to shift gears and shift attention to the build of Blood and Guts. Because Jamie's the one who called out Blood and Guts. She's the one who set the table for that. So now now that this match is done, now you can really start to build the Blood and Guts teams. Mm-hmm. Now, if Jamie Hayter and Queen Aminata were continuing this tournament, it'd be kind of weird. You're in the tournament and in Blood and Guts, like whatever. Now you can have them be done with this tournament and move on to the Blood and Guts match itself to help build that. Now, this match really surprised me of, one, how short it was, and two, how kind of like the finish in a sense. So I didn't feel like this was the inaugural tag team tournament championship match. It just didn't feel important to me for some reason on the card. Like when I was watching this, I'm like, it just felt like another match in Dynamite. And I was like, why is this being so rushed? And why is this like, I don't know. That was just me personally. I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but I understand the finish and I understand the way they're going with it because they're going to be focusing on Blood and Guts now.
Yeah, I didn't get that feeling, but
okay.
Each their own. I just
right.
I do it just, and again, I think it's funny sometimes when some of the behind the scenes stuff, like how Aminata and Sky Blue are really close, but like they're
right.
back and forth. You're getting some love.
This is my cousin Casper.
Hey Casper, we got a Casper running. Oh, don't let Deb see that dog. Oh, don't let Deb see.
That's another Cavalier. Look at Casper. He's making his airtime.
Oh my goodness, he's getting FaceTime. Don't let Deb see that cute face. What do you think, Casper? What do you think? What did you think of this women's tag team division? Who do you think? Who do you got? Who do you got, Casper?
He looks like a Sisters of Sins fan.
Yeah, he's got it bad for the Tekla. I can see that. Yeah. Good stuff.
I'm excited. So, in the chat there, I don't know if Willow and Harley are going to beat Athena and Mercedes. Like, I like that pairing, but it makes sense that like if someone was interfering such a Statlander, because we're a little over 3 weeks build away. After Collision, we'll be 3 weeks away from Full Gear. So I think you focus on other feuds, like just like as I said last week, like we're looking at the brackets and like we're not going to remember the tournament. We're going to remember who wins and then the tag team, how that tag team division develops when they announce the inaugural women's one. So if Mercedes and Athena lose the first round, I'll be happy with that. And then you'll have the final four potentially be the wild card one is Tay versus Bane and Shafir, because it's like deep in the back of my mind, I'm like, is one of Anna Jay and Ty Mello, like, is one of them hurt? Because they were quote unquote like the face of the division of tag team division, and they have been like the back burner.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be interesting to see. They should be the ones being pushed as the favorites, but they're
Agreed.
kind of being put like they're like we're going to win this division. And then I don't see them advancing. I don't understand that's going to. But speaking of constructed abominations, this was cute. This was the new the Callis family painting.
That must have taken at least 40 plus hours of artwork just on the abs.
Yeah. This is one that I don't think Mel Coleman's going to claim. I don't think this is. I know he commissions her for a lot of stuff, contrary to popular belief, but
this is like a ad for Thunder from Down Under in Vegas. Courtney, look away. This is just, all of his paintings are just top notch. Like if they do a fan fest again, they need to have all of Callis's paintings all throughout the fan fest. It'd be hilarious. But looking at it, I'm like, damn. But just taking a step back and the obnoxiousness of it, like the army that he built is just absolutely insane. And I really like the Don Callis Summit. I like, guys getting their chance to talk, Rocky and Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher, which my number one overall pick, Fletcher, has not been wrestling lately, so I need to get some points. He needs to get back in the game and start wrestling some more. I need some extra points, especially if Kevin Knight is hurt. But bigger story that we're continuing to build this has got to be at Full Gear. This has to be. Why wait any longer? This has to be a Full Gear. We'll see what happens on Collision, because they're teaming up against the quote unquote reacclaimed, as you said months ago. Like, you need to reacclaim the acclaimed. So what kind of cohesiveness are they going to have when they're tag teams? Or are they going to fight each other after the match, or what's going to happen? But this has to be a Full Gear, and another one of those that could change title hands.
Deb and I went to the butcher several weeks ago. We went to this butcher, an actual butcher, and we got these really delicious cut thick steaks, and I marinated them in
ribeyes,
beef bouillon, and I marinated them for 2 days, and I put this like Chicago rub on it that was just delicious. It's a mix of all kinds of different spices. And I let it sit, and then about half an hour before I cooked them, I doused them in olive oil, and I had them. And I had been thinking about these steaks ever since we bought them. And it's one of those things where it's like, for 2.5 days, I've been thinking nothing but these steaks. And then when I finally cooked them, the whole house smelled like steak. And I finally took that first bite and bit into it, and it was so bursting with flavor and so delicious. That's what it's going to feel like when Takeshita beats Okada's ass. It's good because they have really been developing this slow cook. It's marinating, and just Takeshita doesn't have to say a word. He just has his emotes now are so good.
Oh gosh, that smirk.
Okada is such. Takeshita's great, but Okada with his just like shit-eating grin is just so like, you know, like when he went to shake his hand and flipped him off, and it's just, you know, what's going to happen is Takeshita's going to turn and have to fight the whole Callis family. That's what's coming. And then, you know, it's going to be glorious, and it's going to taste delicious when he finally beats Okada's ass. But Okada, the little shit-eating grin Okada has, it's great, it's glorious, and it's just, you know, it's going to be an ass whooping coming. So yeah, it's going to be great.
If this gets announced for Full Gear, it'd probably be one of my most anticipated matches that I want to see. You know, no knock at anything else, but if this gets announced, those 4 matches alone stack up to any pay-per-view period.
Yep.
Even though the Joe Hangman is a rematch, that's gonna just be such an awesome rematch. You know, Stat and Mercedes are incredible. FTR, one of the best tag teams out there, versus Brodito, which is one of the best rising tag teams out there. And then these two, man, sign us up. I really enjoyed the summit. It gave us really a perspective of just how kind of evil Callis is and how amazing his family is. You know, there's an I in family, and I tell you to do whatever. And so, putting in perspective, like how Takeshita was the first too, like all reminding us all this stuff, and he's going to be the first in and first out too. And so that's a line he could use. Takeshita, I'm the first in, but I'm the first out. F you. And then boom, give Callis a clothesline, and then, you know, beat Okada and all that. It would be really great. It's like, I'm cutting the head off the snake. I'm taking out your top guy, Okada, and then I'm going to come for the rest of you.
Whatever heel, and it's got to be a heel, whatever heel eventually dethrones Hangman, or whatever heel dethrones Hangman as champion, and it's not going to be for a while. It'll be sometime 2026. Agreed. I want to see Takeshita go after him. I want Takeshita to go for the title. I want to see him in the main event picture. He's already IWGP champion. So I think that in itself should elevate him, and I just think that'll be. I mean, Takeshita versus MJF, you can already hear MJF like take a shitta, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's going to be great, and it's going to be glorious, and I'm looking forward to it. We got to. You want to talk about this match here a little bit? All right. Okay, Hook. I like Hook. And he did very well in this match. But Bobby Lashley was great, phenomenal. Joe went above and beyond. Like, this was one of the hardest I've seen Joe work in a long time. And he's had great bangers.
Agree.
But to me, Ricochet made this match next level. Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't great without him. Like, it wouldn't have been great without him. That I'm not saying the other 3 weren't great. They were phenomenal. It was a 4-person band here playing. Everybody had their instrument. But Ricochet, if this was Boyz II Men, Ricochet was Wayana. I mean, he was hitting the high notes, and the way he was selling, the way he was flying, the way he did a frog splash, landed on Bobby Lashley, and then he bounced off of Bobby Lashley's torso about 50 feet in the air. He's like struggling to like crawling along the apron trying to get to the next thing. Ricochet was so phenomenal in this match, even though he didn't win. And the way he pissed off Bobby and caused him to walk away so Samoa Joe could get the win. That was brilliant writing, brilliant planning. But to me, Ricochet, I mean, spoiler alert, but Ricochet was my top performer of the night who had a match. Now, I considered giving top performer to someone that didn't have a match because of the ending, but I had to stick with Ricochet because he was phenomenal. The whole match was great, and Hook, I mean, I don't think anybody thought Hook was going to win, but it was interesting some of the stuff, the fact that he gave Bobby Lashley a suplex. That was incredible. But yeah, I thought
and Samoa Joe.
and Samoa Joe, but Ricochet was
I
so
think
great.
I mean, you nailed it on the head, and it's a testament to someone's overall ability to be able to make a match so memorable and not be the victor or the clear loser. Like in a four-way like this, like, you're saying, and I completely agree with you, Ricochet standing out so much because not only does he have like that star power, but he has that capability to piece together the match and pick his spots in terms of getting the offense or selling the moves so much. And it's just, as we spoke about Mercedes Moné, like heel work 101, but it's AP work. But Ricochet is doing AP heel work and incredible stuff. And Bobby Lashley was almost my top performer of the night because I love the way that he was presented in this match too.
Yep,
everything from top to bottom, from the entrance to the whole match. It was unfortunate that he watched his opportunity slip away right there at the ropes near the end there. But this was a huge reminder and kind of a reawakening to me. It's like, Lashley needs to be in this kind of like main event title picture because he's so good. Overall too. Like he's another one, like a big guy, like he'll sell for you. And, like you said, Joe, like he is a trios champ, so he can pace his matches, but he was all over the place. He was almost one of my top performers too. He was all over the place last night and doing offense and taking and defense and taking in spots. And so it was just, to me, a great showcase as of late that Joe's rise. And this is like, look at him. I mean, he looks like he's a Halloween villain right now.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like evil Samoa Joe is the best version of him. And
Bobby Lashley was my pick to win, but I'm happy Joe won because of what you just said. He was, the way that Joe was presented in this match last night, he was presented as the man. He was presented as the badass. He was presented as, I like Halloween villain. I mean, he was kind of like Mike Myers there, and up until the end, he came across as a threat. Like, is he going to dethrone Hanger? I got to give a shout out to Bobby Lashley when he told Hook to calm down, and then he picked him up, and right before he dropped him on the apron, he looked at the camera and went, "Sorry, Taz."
Yeah.
Just went boom. That was fantastic. But so then they're celebrating. Of course, Tony Schiavone does the contract signing and brings out the costume freaks, and Samoa Joe's like, no, we're pretty sure. Let's make sure I'm safe. So Hobbs and Shibata beat up everybody, the jobbers in the costumes, thinking one of them's Hangman, and it wasn't. And of course, they're drinking beers, and Schiavone gets back in. This was so brilliant. The way that they did this, the way they did Tony Schiavone's voice and the bait and switch with the costume, and then they switched the voice right before he fights. They even gave him the gut. This Hanger Schiavone.
And the camera angle, they only showed from like chin down or not even neck down. And so they did a great job for us at home, kind of keeping it secret. And you can tell with that pop at the crowd, they didn't know.
And it slowly dawns on them, that's not Tony Schiavone, that's freaking Hangman. And you can watch the scene, like almost like in a mosh pit or something, when like you slowly see everybody, dawns on everybody, it just kind of spreads, and you just see people like go, oh, like that. And you just, like I said, Deb and I watched this like 10 times, and it was like I was watching different people in the crowd and how they reacted, and it was just so chef's kiss. This was what took this Dynamite to a great Dynamite, all the way to one of the best Dynamites of the year because of this moment. This will be in the top 10 moments of this year, as well as it's going to be in an all-timer list. This is another one of those, when Hanger was in the Stay Puft outfit, it's those kind of things. And this is what it's stuff like this of why I'm so hooked on AEW. This is the stuff. Give me more of this kind of stuff. And just that moment when he said, "Long may he reign," and you're like, oh, here it comes. Oh, it was so great. It was, yes, like Courtney says, it was gold. It was gold. Yes.
And I don't mind, last pay-per-view was a lot of rematches, per se, but I don't mind a rematch when the feud is so hot. Like
Yeah.
the Joe feud and the Joe and Hangman feud. And it works so well. Like Joe is so good, you can't just okay, that's it. I don't feel like there was still clearly there's still a lot of meat on the bones to have to continue this feud, and it's even getting more serious and more exciting this time around, in my opinion. I think the Wrestle Dream was cool and quick, and now that Joe's all in on heel Joe, it is going to be that much more memorable. And I'm glad that they're going to. Well, they weren't really, heel Joe is very fresh, and as we spoke about this on our show before, that you need more true heels against your top guy or girl. And now, even though Joe still gets the cheers because he's Joe and he always will get cheers, now he's more of an evil Joe. And so I think we're going to see more evilness over the next few weeks leading up to it too on there going forward. What's Robot SPD? But I love this. This was great. This was a great. Oh, better? Test 1, 2.
You're good. You're good.
All right. I was trying to add a photo really quick, but if I was home, I could have had this mask on tonight as well.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Awesome show though, man.
Yeah, before where was this? Hold on, I want to share this real quick. I gotta say, I heard this match seems like an absolute must match. Could be a match of the year contender leading into Collision. So do not miss this match. Yeah. Bandito versus Mascara Dorado, one of the biggest, most upcoming stars coming up.
No line dancing on Saturday night for this. You got to get this one. You got to watch this one. Yeah,
I like online dancing.
Yeah, but not this Saturday. You go any other Saturday.
Well, actually, so here's the thing. I will be out next week because tomorrow, or actually Saturday, I'm setting sail. I'm going on a cruise, not the Jericho cruise. So I will be out next week. We'll have a special guest host with Mind Runner next week, but I'll be out. I'll be still chatting. You guys I'll have internet and all that, but you can, we'll be chatting online, but I will be catching up on wrestling when I can, but I'll be out to sea, getting my vitamin C starting Saturday, setting sail, Caribbean cruise for the week.
Oh, yeah, man.
Too bad it's not the Jericho cruise, though.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That sounds like the next Jericho cruise isn't going to be as crazy as, I don't know. Maybe it will. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's going to be awesome, though. You got a Caribbean cruise, man.
So let's show our latest. I know you're gonna bask in the glory of being at the top right now. So where we're at right now, it's Dynamite Download Season 7 draft.
I am not basking in anything, man. I'm looking over my shoulder at who's behind me. Look how close everyone is. Even Full Tilt Deb and Courtney at 6-6. That's still only 10 points between me and the bottom. So anything can happen at this point. And I've done enough of these. I've done enough of these drafts to know I am not in any comfortable position right now. This is just temporary glee. I am not counting my chickens right now at all. I am thankful.
So we have 2 full months left of this.
Yes.
Now, typically we add a +3 after a pay-per-view. But maybe we can discuss this, that we can make a +3 maybe in like 2 weeks or something. That way we're kind of in the middle of it, because the way the pay-per-views are stacked is kind of, not as much, but +3 is going to be coming soon. We could talk off air, Mind Runner, and get everyone on board if we want to do that, whether it be like after Blood and Guts, do +3 leading into Full Gear, or wait till after Full Gear. But that only gives you a month for that +3 on the draft. But yeah, Steven won the bingo. So he catapulted from like 7th place to 3rd place with his +3 when he won that +3 bingo on there. So you're right. It's a tight race there. Top performers of the night. I was going back and forth all over the place. I really, really enjoyed that 4-way tag team match. And I think Speedball really stood out to me. A lot of his kicks, his flips, and his offense. So it was a lot of fun. Jet Speed could have easily won that match. Kind of, I guess, now that I'm thinking of it, like Jet Speed could have potentially won that match. But if there was a true injury from Kevin Knight, maybe they did pull an FTR audible, because Stokely seemed kind of surprised too. But it was the right move, FTR. And you preaching Ricochet, man. I mean, the guy is just a stud.
You can argue there have been some flops that came into AEW. I loved Miro, but things didn't work out for him. Malachi Black, it was unfortunate. But for every one of those, there's a Ricochet story. There's a Tony Storm story. There's these folks that come in and just like they find their groove. It's great to see a wrestler come into AEW or any organization. It could go the other way. But it's great to see a wrestler finally find their voice, finally find their character. And Ricochet has truly found who he is, and he's such a joy to watch, and it's great. It's so awesome.
Nailed it on the head, brother. Nailed it on the head. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you all this week, next week, but I'll be back with plenty of vitamin C in 2 weeks. I know mine's gonna hold it down for us next week. We'll send in a SPD Ocean hot take.
Right, Ocean.
And so
nice,
stay tuned for an Ocean hot take, a Caribbean hot take.
Maybe I'll get the Snake to co-host with me next week.
There you go.
Then we'll get the
Oh
Snakes.
man, 2 heels going at it.
Am I a heel? I didn't think I was. I'm a Moxley. I'm a tweener.
Moxley's a true heel right now.
Yeah. Well,
you're a Joe.
I'm a Joe. All right.
There you
go. That. I got to get my towel again then.
Exactly. That's why I called you Joe, because you used to bring that towel in. There you go. Yep. Steven's available.
All right. There it is.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for stopping by as always, guys. Happy Halloween. Have a safe Halloween. Enjoy next tomorrow. If you guys are dressing up, send us pics, and we want to see what y'all are dressing up as. And maybe hang out with some trick-or-treaters if you're just going to be home chilling. But I will be enjoying vacation, and I will see you all in 2 weeks. Mind Runner's going to be locking it down for 217 with special guest host. Psst.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, y'all. Don't miss Collision.
And stay freshly squeezed.
Stop.